What's up, guys? LQ here with the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here at my YouTube channel. This is where I talk about the geeky, nerdy stuff. I love to talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV shows. If it's geeky, if it's nerdy, this is where I love to talk about that stuff. And right now I want to give you guys my review of the Twilight Zone Season 2, Episode 8, A Small Town. And this is one of the weaker episodes of Season 2. It wasn't bad, but it was one of the weaker episodes. So, Damon Wayans Jr. is the star of this one, and by the way, he looks just like his dad. Like, uncanny, identical. Sounds like him. Ugh. But Damon Wayans Jr., he is a church handyman, kind of lives in the attic of the church, and he fixes things up for the church and for the pastor, and his wife recently passed away, and he's trying to kind of put his life back together, right? He actually moved out of his house and moved into the church after his wife passed, and he's really trying to put his life back together. And while he's in this church, he comes across a scale model of the town. And it doesn't take long for him to realize that what happens in this model happens in the town. Like if he were to build a Starbucks, a model Starbucks in this model, a real Starbucks would appear in the town. There's a part in the movie where a big spider crawls across the model, and a giant spider is crawling through the town. That's the type of scenario that we're introduced here. And he tries to do his best to use this power, this godlike power that he's been given, to help people and to do good. Now, he's got some problems to deal with, though. Number one, when you try to help somebody, it could inevitably hurt somebody else. And how do you reconcile that? How do you reconcile doing something that's good for everybody? It's not always entirely possible. In fact, it's usually not possible to do something to help somebody and have it be something that helps everybody. And on the flip side, this sleazy mayor in town, he starts to get credit for the good things that Damon Wayans Jr.'s character is doing, and he starts to feel jealousy, he starts to feel pride, he starts to feel, resentment, because he knows he's actually the one doing these things, and this sleazy liar mayor is taking credit for it. So it's an engaging premise. It's an engaging premise that has a lot of potential. I feel like this is one of the weaker episodes because it was a little bit rushed. This could have been stretched out into a feature-length film. That's how big this idea was, and how much exploration I feel this idea could have had. They could have really explored this idea and really gotten into the psyche of what it means to have this type of power over everybody, and how this type of power could even corrupt somebody. And all these are kind of things that are just kind of touched upon real briefly because we're in the constraints of a 42-minute TV show. So neat idea. And I don't have any real complaints about the acting or the story, or honestly even the pace at the fact that it was in a box, constrained to a sub-hour movie, or sub-hour episode. I don't really have any complaints about the pace. My complaint is that it just feels like there was a lot more here, a lot more that could have been explored, and it wasn't, because we are in an episodic show that had to be contained in this 40-plus minute box. Neat idea, and there was a lot of moral and ethical questions to be asked here and for our characters to struggle with, but just felt really small given the nature of the storytelling that we have here. So that's kind of my take on Episode 8, A Small Town. Question is, what did you think about Episode 8, A Small Town with Damon Wayans Jr.? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I put out a lot of content. Want to make sure you're up to date with everything that I'm doing. And thank you for joining me here on the LQ Review. This is where I talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that I love to talk about. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.